So what if I told you that most of the financial advice you've ever heard is, well, wrong? The stuff that makes you feel guilty for buying a coffee, the stuff that tells you to track every single penny. Yeah, that's the core idea behind Ramit Sethi's book, I Will Teach You to Be Rich, and it offers a totally different way of thinking about money. Let's dive into his method.
Right out of the gate, Ramit hits you with this wild question. Would you rather be sexy or rich? Now, it's kind of a trick question. His point is that we already know the simple, proven ways to get rich, like saving and investing. But we ignore them because we get distracted by all these complicated, sexy ideas that don't really work, kind of like all those fad diets that promise the world.
And this slide just nails his whole analogy. Think about it. With dieting, we argue endlessly about the tiniest details. Is it keto? Is it paleo? Should I do HIIT? It's the same with money. We debate hot stocks versus mutual funds, and we get totally paralyzed by all the noise. The real answers are actually super simple. Just spend less than you earn and invest the rest over and over again.
Okay, so the very first step in this whole system is to unlearn all the bad advice. We're going to look at what Ramit calls the anti-rules, the ideas that completely flip the script on all that guilt-ridden financial advice we've been taught our whole lives.
First up is the biggest myth of them all, the one we've all had drilled into our heads since we were kids. You have to create a detailed budget and you must track every single dollar you spend.
But here's the truth according to Sethi. For most of us, budgets just don't work. They're like a financial crash diet. They feel super restrictive, they make us feel terrible when we inevitably mess up, and in the end, we just give up on them completely.
And this right here just blows up that whole latte factor nonsense. As Ramit says himself, this isn't about telling you to stop buying lattes. The real goal is to build a system that lets you spend extravagantly, I mean truly guilt-free, on the things you absolutely love by cutting costs mercilessly on everything else. Okay, so if we're tossing out the traditional budget, what takes its place? The answer is something called the Big Wins framework. It's designed to get you massive results with the least amount of effort possible. Here's how it actually works. It really all boils down to these 3 pillars. First, you just focus on the big wins. These are like the 5 to 10 actions that are going to get you 85% of your results. Second, you practice conscious spending. This just means you ruthlessly cut costs on things you couldn't care less about, so you have way more money to spend on the things you do. And finally, the magic key, you automate the entire system, so your money just works for you in the background. Now, of all the big wins you could focus on, there's one that just crushes all the others. It's not even close. And that is simply to start investing as early as you possibly can. The math on this is, well, it's kind of mind-blowing. Just look at this chart. This says it all. You've got Smart Sally. She invests just $200 a month for only 10 years, and then she stops completely. Now, compare that to Dan. He starts 10 years later, but he invests for twice as long and puts in double the total money. Who comes out ahead? Sally does, by over $60,000. That is the insane power of compound growth. Time is your single greatest asset. And the engine that makes all of this happen without you even thinking about it? It's automation. The whole goal is to set up a system one time where your money automatically flows from your paycheck to your bills, to your savings, and to your investments without you ever needing to touch it. You make the smart decision once, and then you can literally get rich in your sleep.
All right, so this all sounds great in theory, doesn't it? But what about in the real world? Let's take a look at some of the results from actual people who put this system into action.
Take a look at Steve Adcock. He and his wife used these exact principles to retire at 33 and 35. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. They didn't just get a pile of money, they bought themselves total freedom over their own time. Then you've got Ross Fletcher. He went from a net worth of $0 to almost $500,000 just by setting up an automated system. And the result for him? He says he never has to worry about money again. Can you imagine that feeling? And hey, this isn't just for investing. Sean Wilkins used the book's ideas on big wins, like earning more money by negotiating a raise, to completely wipe out $40,000 in debt in just 2 years. That's life-changing.
And check out Allison Reynolds' story. At 25, she was in a deep hole of credit card debt. Just 3 years later, after using these steps, she's debt-free, has $50,000 in savings, and is about to buy a house. That is a complete and total turnaround.
But you know, all the mechanics, all the numbers, that's really only half the story. And this brings us to what is actually the most important part of this whole philosophy,
defining your rich life. What's the point of all this anyway?
And let's be crystal clear about this. The goal is not to get you trapped in a spreadsheet obsessing over every single number for the rest of your life. That is not a rich life. That's just a different kind of prison. No, the real goal here is to use money as a tool to intentionally design the specific life that you want to live. It's about finally asking yourself what you actually want your life to look like, and then building a money system to make it happen.
And a rich life looks totally different for everyone. For you, maybe it's something small but meaningful, like being able to order appetizers without even glancing at the price. Maybe it's about being generous, like helping your parents with their retirement. Or maybe it's huge, like traveling for a month every single year, or even funding a school somewhere. The point is, you get to define it.
So in the end, this entire system is really just a tool. It's a tool designed for one purpose, to help you fund your vision. So the most important question isn't about interest rates or hot stocks, it's this one. What does your rich life look like? Get really specific, write it down, and then use these ideas to build the system that makes it your reality.